Hey guys, welcome back to Embers and Ash. My name's Ashley, if you didn't know, and today I want to talk to you guys about what I didn't expect from motherhood. So when I was pregnant, like a lot of women, I was really nervous about motherhood because you hear all the horror stories and you don't know what you're gonna get because everyone has a different baby and therefore a different experience. So I wanted to sit down and talk about what I didn't expect and what I wish I had known. The first thing that I didn't expect was that I can go out with my baby. I don't know if this sounds obvious. To me, it wasn't an obvious thing at all. I was really scared about going out in public with a baby, especially a newborn. I thought that I just wouldn't be able to do it. I think I was mostly nervous about my baby crying uncontrollably out in public and me not knowing what to do. Well, it turns out newborns especially are so easy to take out because they just sleep. Especially if your baby likes the car seat or being in the stroller, they're just rocked to sleep while you're like out about doing your errands. So I really wish I had known that it's easy to go out with a newborn because I had preemptively bought postpartum clothes because I thought I wouldn't be able to shop, and those clothes didn't work out for me. So it was a waste of money, and I could have just gone shopping after I had my baby. The second thing that I didn't expect was that I didn't need as many baby clothes as I thought I did. And keep in mind, I thought I was being minimal. Like, I was trying to plan out for like 7 outfits and 7 pairs of pajamas per age group for my baby, like 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, etc. And I guess if you have a baby that blows out a lot or spits up a lot, you probably would want that many clothes. But Rook has been really good. Only recently has he started puking a bit more, but he's still not that bad. So really, I don't need nearly as many clothes as I thought. Okay, we have an early interruption this time. I thought he would last longer, but the rest of the video will be with the one and only Rook. The third thing that I didn't expect from motherhood was that I wouldn't be so fazed by crying. I thought that it would hit me really hard and I kind of wouldn't be able to mentally deal, because I know a lot of women are like that. But really, I am not fazed at all by Rook crying, unless it's like ongoing and he won't settle down, then that really kind of gets to you. But just in general, if he cries, I'm just like, whatever, that's what babies do, you know? The next thing that I didn't expect was that I would have way more ambition now than I did when I was pregnant. So when I was pregnant, I had like my whole day free, right? No baby to take care of, just myself. But the pregnancy hormones really got to me and I had zero ambition. I had a hard time doing anything productive. And even with a newborn, when I was low on sleep, I still had so much ambition to get stuff done that I would do more than I should have and like wear myself out too much. Isn't it so weird? Like, pregnancy takes such a toll on your body that I'm more productive now with a baby than when I was pregnant. The next thing I didn't expect was that I would exclusively breastfeed. This isn't necessarily a forever thing. I always had the idea that we would bottle feed Rook every once in a while. Oh gosh, thank you. Or Josh would, so that he would get to be involved in the feeding process. But I just really like breastfeeding, and I have no desire to bottle feed except for the freedom that it would give me. Like if I wanted to go on a weekend trip somewhere without Rook or something like that, but I'm not anywhere close to that point where I want that. So I'm just kind of taking it as we go, and maybe eventually we'll try the bottle. I'm sure he won't like it very much because if you don't start early enough, they'll probably refuse it. But my midwife also said like a baby will get hungry enough that they'll take a bottle, so we'll see what happens. And along with that, I didn't expect that breastfeeding would go so well. I was fully prepared for all the like horror stories I've heard about breastfeeding, that the first 2 weeks are brutal and it's really a learning process for yourself and your baby. And like for sure that's true for a lot of people, but Rook just came out knowing what to do and I just had to adjust, and my body adjusted really well. And it's just been a dream the whole time, and I feel so lucky that it went so smoothly. Next up, this is something that I've mentioned before. I didn't expect that my relationship with Josh would be put on pause for a little while. So when you have a newborn and you're up every 3 hours at night, it obviously really takes a toll on your energy, and all that energy that you do have is just getting poured back into your baby because they take a lot of effort. So that really didn't leave a lot of energy for my relationship with Josh and vice versa. So we just kind of would look at each other and be like, you want to watch TV? Because we didn't have energy to like talk and connect and be together. But we also knew that it was a phase, and after we got through this stage, we'll be able to pour into each other more. And sure enough, Josh and I are back to normal, if you would call it that, where we have time for each other. We can pour into our relationship and build our marriage. The next thing I didn't expect is kind of a sad one. I didn't expect that healing can take longer than 6 weeks after birth. And this is because you always hear like, oh, you can't do anything in your first 6 weeks after birth, and then you can start reincorporating things back into your life. And that's probably true for a lot of people, but I think specifically if you tear, which I did, that wound needs, you know, that 6 weeks to heal. But even after it's healed, you have scar tissue to deal with that can be really sensitive. And so there's like a whole other world of almost like physiotherapy to kind of get everything back in order. And I just wish someone told me that, like, even with a pretty normal birth, like I only had a 1st-degree tear, it still can take a lot to get your body back to where it was. Next up, I didn't expect that I would miss the hospital so much. If you've heard my birth story, you would know that I had a great time in the hospital. Like, I loved birth. I had the epidural, everything was fine. Rook came out in one piece, and it was just so fun. And I loved that all my energy in that moment was going towards Rook and my family, and there were no other worries in the world, right? You don't worry about bills, you don't worry about work, you're all just focused on this one thing that's so beautiful. And I miss that feeling. A couple weeks ago, we went to the hospital because Rook had a little bit of a reaction. And while we were there, I was sitting on a hospital bed with him, and I was like, oh, this reminds me of when I gave birth, and I was having such a great time. Yeah, so I'm excited for the next time I give birth to a baby. I hope I have just as good of an experience. And the last thing that I didn't expect was that my life wouldn't change that much. Which people are always like, your life is completely different, which it kind of is, but I mean in the sense that, like, I still do everything that I did before, I just incorporate Rook into it. Like I said earlier, I can take him out pretty much wherever I go and not have a problem. Rook is really good in the stroller. He loves being pushed around. So yeah, he just tags along. The only time that I've had an issue where I can't incorporate Rook was when in the summer, we went to a lake and I wanted to go swimming with Josh. Rook was too small, so he couldn't join us. But that's what family's for, and I had family members watching Rook while Josh and I went swimming, so that was the solution. You okay, buddy? You're getting a little whiny. So yeah, those are all the things that I didn't expect from motherhood. I hope this gives you some insight on kind of the reality of having a baby. I got a bit of a hungry boy right now, I think, so I'm gonna go give him some food. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want more mom content, go check out this video. I have no idea what it's gonna be because I haven't planned for that because I need to go feed him. And yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!